Welcome to the Mikasa Canada Road to Nationals. I'm very excited today to be joined by Kelly Smith, the director and founder of Pakmen Volleyball in the Greater Toronto Area. Pakmen Volleyball was founded in 2002 by Kelly, who at the time had never played volleyball himself. The club has seen remarkable growth across the GTA and has had incredible success from the provincial to the national to the international level since. Kelly, thanks a lot for joining me today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Josh.
So while we could talk about the many championships and alumni to come from Pakmen for hours, what stands out about the club and what we'll discuss today is the inclusive environment that has been ingrained in the club. So we'll start with your motto, diversity powered volleyball. Can you explain what that means to your club?
That's a good question. We're asked that quite a bit. It's everything that we're about is diversity and all forms of diversity. The forms that we talk about in day-to-day life in the media every day, the demographic diversity, but also the cognitive diversity too, where we're open to free thinkers and divergent thinkers and people that have different thinking styles, different perspectives and insights. So we're 100% right across the board diversity.
And then your mission notes that you reach out to those who traditionally do not play volleyball at the club level. How does that process look?
When I started the club, it was a grade 8 team, and it was in a multicultural school, so it was naturally diverse. And at the end of the school season, they said, "Hey, we want to keep playing. You know, why does their season have to stop?" It was the first time it was a boys' team. They never played volleyball before. They had a successful season. They were falling in love with the game. I looked into the OVA and I said, okay, let's start an OVA club. And then I got an education on diversity because I found all the barriers that each one of them had from playing rep sports. And reaching out to those who traditionally don't play club volleyball, that's just breaking down barriers, finding out what the barriers are and breaking them down. An example would be a traditional club. I came from competitive swimming, and it's a volunteer-driven sport. It's professional coaches, but parents, they're on the board of directors. They do all the fundraising and organizing. A lot of these kids didn't have parents available to do that. They were working at nights or shift work, or they didn't understand sport and the value of sport. So if we made that a requirement, like your parent had to do fundraising or work at tournaments or do this and that, then they weren't invited. They weren't going to be part of this. So we had to just revisit everything and look at everything from a completely different perspective. To this day, Pakmen, you're not allowed to be a parent in the club, to be on our board of directors. You can be a parent, of course, but your kid can't currently be playing. And I think that's such an important aspect of our club. So we take all the politics out of it. And if you think about it, if a parent has a kid in the club, I can't think of a bigger conflict of interest. And so we don't have that. We've always tried to keep our fees low. We've never demanded any parental support at all. There's no volunteering. There's no fundraising. There's no, they can volunteer, but it's not required. We don't host tournaments. If we have hosted some tournaments, but no parent is required to be at that. And dress codes, like in our house leagues and in our programs, we found a lot of Muslim girls were not signing up, and we found out that their parents weren't comfortable with the shorts that girls wear in volleyball. So we said, wear whatever you want. As long as you have running shoes, wear whatever you want. Internet, access to internet, credit cards, registrations, all that kind of stuff. We just look for all the systemic barriers and we try to eliminate as many that we could.
Fantastic. So with this part of your core values, you've gone on to see tremendous success, as I mentioned, provincial, national, even international levels. How do you think that this has helped foster such an incredible record of success?
Well, it's kind of the, together we're better mentality, or as the saying goes, and it really is true because we're the first club that had a wide range of uh, ethnic diversity. And I know we go to tournaments and hundreds of people would hang around and like watch our games and I could tell you all kinds of stories about that. But I know Sharon, Vernon Evans, he joined Pac-Man. He came from Ajax. We're in Mississauga because of the diversity. A lot of people think that, he helped us spread the diversity, and he certainly did. But not many people know that's the reason he came to Pac-Man, because of the diversity. Because he watched his sister play. His older sister was playing before he played, and he'd look over in the other court and he'd see Pac-Man, and he'd see a lot of kids that looked like him. So he was really attracted to that, and he said, "I want to play for that club." So that has helped us, and we have so many kids that come to us, and good coaches too. We've had Jeff Chung. He came to Pac-Man because of our diversity. His kid is in Pac-Man. Dustin Reed came to Pac-Man because of our diversity. His kid is playing in Pac-Man. Oris Stanko was attracted to our club because of our diversity. Leonard Kraft. There's so many good quality people that just like that.
So for other clubs across the country that are looking to be more inclusive, to get more players onto their courts, and not just players, coaches and staff as well, what would you recommend that they do to be more inclusive?
I would say that I think most people try to, no one tries to discriminate. Everyone tries to welcome everyone. But I think the real secret is look for the hidden systemic barriers. And they're the tricky ones because they're not in plain sight. And you won't even see them if you're not looking for them. And if you see them, or you can eliminate them, and then great things can happen. But you won't see them if you surround yourself with people that are like yourself. It's really important to reach out to different people, divergent thinkers, people. That's where the whole cognitive diversity comes in play. And just speak to a lot of different people. Don't talk to people that are all like you, that have the same upbringing as you. And the cognitive diversity is the whole key, because you could have ethnic diversity and they all think the same, because they all, were brought up in Mississauga and all went to the same schools. They all watch the NBA. They all have similar interests. You're going to get the same outcome, the same opinions. So try to talk to people from every walk of life, and you'll find people will say, "Hey, I couldn't play volleyball because of this," and you'll go, "My goodness, I didn't even think of that."
We've talked a lot about the success that your club has had, and your alumni have had a great deal of success too, from U Sports, the national team, such as you mentioned, Sharon Vernon Evans. So how has your club been able to evolve and sustain this development system that you've created?
Well, I think one of the things I'm really excited about is now that there's a culture in Pac-Man, people that come to our club because of the diversity, they believe in the actual club and the philosophy of the club. So they're more likely to want to stay and come back and give back when their playing days are over. And now that we've been around this, we're coming up to 20 years. Players that played in our first players, like in 2002, they're now coaching in the club. And every year we're getting more and more alumni saying, "Hey, I want to give back." And now it's snowballing right now. Right before COVID, it was starting to really snowball. I know we won 2 18U back-to-back championships with the boys team. And the team right before COVID was an equally strong team. This year's team was equally strong. Like it's really starting to steamroll. So I think when you start building something and everyone wants to be involved and you get quality people, it's a formula for success.
Absolutely. Kelly, thank you so much for taking the time today and joining me on the Mikasa Canada Road to Nationals. And providing us with a little bit of insight into Pakmen Volleyball and your club's philosophies.
Thank you so much, Josh.
Perfect. And thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you on the next episode of Mikasa Canada Road to Nationals.